Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 68, and we have 3 days to go, 72 hours left in this spring 2022 Fit in 10, and it is always just quite crazy how fast this goes, right? It's just like, do you remember when I told you in the beginning, I'm like, before you know it, it'll be day 35, and then before you know it, it'll be day 70. It goes by super fast. So 70 days, well, it is fairly long for a challenge. Relative to other challenges, it goes by super fast. Okay, if you haven't booked your scan, please make sure you do. www.calendly.com/train on main. I sent out an email about it. A lot of people have not booked their final scan. Please make sure you do. Let's just see how you did. Okay, just a reminder, you probably, and this is just based on feedback and numbers, this is just based on history, you probably did better than you think. Okay, so just keep that in your mind. All right, question here. There are so many types of olive oil. Could you go over the differences and preferences we should consume? All right, I'm going to talk about how to choose one, okay? So how about that? And through this, you'll see that there's going to be different ones mentioned here, but really let's look at what you should choose when you're looking for an olive oil, because there's a lot of labeling and confusion when it comes to the marketing of olive oil. So let's talk a little bit about it. Okay, number one, always buy extra virgin olive oil. Always extra virgin. Okay, this just means that it's been free of heat, it's free of chemicals, it should be high quality, shouldn't be rancid at all. Always buy extra virgin. If you see an oil that is labeled as light olive oil or olive oil light, this is nothing more than marketing. It just simply means that there's been stuff added to it, and that's not what you want. Right? You don't want anything added to your olive oil, essentially. So don't confuse this with a lesser fat olive oil. Okay, all oils are 100% fat. So stay away from light olive oil or olive oil light. Number two, always look at the harvest date, not the expiration date, but the harvest date. And typically speaking, definitely don't go over 18 months. Try to consume it or at least get it and consume it within 12 months of its harvest date, okay? Or at least 18 months. All right, so make sure that the olive oil lists its harvest date, not just the expiry. So if it doesn't have the harvest date, I wouldn't buy it. Number three, look for extra virgin olive oil that's in darker glass bottles or tin. Do not buy in plastic. Do not buy olive oil that's in bottles that are non-tinted, okay? We want to keep light away from the olive oil. Light will oxidize the oil. All right, so it can also ruin the flavor. Okay, and I've got another fly back once again here. I guess it's that time of year. Number four, just be wary of inexpensive oils. So often you might see an oil that is touted to be from Italy, and maybe it's cheap, and those two things don't really go together. Be careful to where the oil comes from exactly. Not, for example, you could get one that's advertised as Italian extra virgin olive oil, and it's just simply bottled in Italy. So make sure you look at where it comes from. To be honest with you, I mean, if it's truly Italian, okay, that's obviously going to be a good sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to come from Italy. But always look at the price, look at the harvest date, look at the bottle that it's in, right? As I already mentioned, and because all of these are going to play in its pricing. And if it seems too good to be true with pricing, it probably is. It probably is not a good quality oil. Okay, generally speaking, you get what you pay for. Number 5, you shouldn't be able to tell, well, I kind of already said this, but you shouldn't be able to tell what the color of the oil is from the bottle. The bottle should be dark enough you can't tell. So, and as I mentioned, the bottle should be made of glass or metal. Glass or metal, do not buy in plastic. Okay, that plastic can leach into the oil. And just on a side note, it is okay, because I know I've gotten this question before, it is okay to cook with olive oil up to 420 degrees, typically speaking, okay? You can heat olive oil. It's relatively stable, even though it is, it's not a saturated fat, of course. It does have a decent amount of saturated fat, around 20% or so, 15-20% of it is saturated fat, but it's primarily a monounsaturated fat, so it is it is a lot more stable than some of these polyunsaturated fats, these seed oils that I certainly wouldn't want you to consume. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. All right, message of the day. Message of the day on this day 68. Nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. Nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. So, and for that matter, you know, if you really want to do something, okay, putting a few exceptions aside, if you really want to do something, you will do it. If you don't want to do it, you'll find an excuse one way or another. So, you know, just this is something to remember, because, you know, if you don't want to do something, well, that's fine. You don't have to do it. There's many things I don't want to do and I will never do. But if you're telling yourself, I just really don't have the time, really what it boils down to is it means that it's just not that important to you. It just isn't. And that's okay. But the key here is to determine what the key is, to be completely honest with yourself. And if you're tricking yourself and something is really important to you, as I really do think diet and exercise should be ongoing for your life, you will make time for it. You will create time for it, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, in this challenge, I push you to be a little more perfect with things, of course. I never say perfection, but obviously, you guys know I go through, I really encourage progression over perfection. But obviously, we've been really strict with these numbers. But ultimately, we really just want a level of reasonableness and consistency over time, all right? And that will, at the very least, should allow you to maintain your body composition. All right, so nobody is too busy. It's just a matter of priorities. If you prioritize, it will happen. I've always, with maybe the exception of being sick, I've had times where I'm sick and I just could not eat. I've always prioritized my food. I always have. Always, since I learned this was more related to bodybuilding, since I learned the importance of it. But that's just me, and that's just one aspect of my life. Okay, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.